This is the time of year that you really need to do a lot of things, and the best time for doing a lot of things. Generally, we start when the weather at night is 50 to 60 degrees. That's when your plumerias will start waking up. So usually March 15th is when I start doing everything. I do it every year. I've been doing it for 30 or 40 years. I've never had a freeze or a real cold night after that time. And generally if it rains, it's very beneficial because it's really, really good water. So now's the time to start thinking about doing that, especially if you've had your plumerias put away for the winter, which I know a lot of people do. They either cover them up, they put them in the garages, they're stuff in pots, and try to keep it all dry. Now's the time that it's ready to go. So, first thing you should do is you should pull your plants out if you haven't done that, and get them out where you can really see them and do an inspection on them, because during the winter time, especially if you stored them, they can have all kinds of insect problems. Spider mites love still air, so if you've had them in plastic shade houses or greenhouses, a lot of them will have spider mites that you don't see, and as soon as the weather warms up, those little critters go crazy. The other thing this year especially is a lot of people still have leaves that stayed on all year, and those leaves should all be removed. If you go out and clip about 20 leaves off and turn them all over and look at the back, you're going to find all kinds of bug eggs on them. Almost all insects, they don't thrive on new leaves at all. They thrive on the old leaves on the plant. So the older the leaves get, the more apt they are to get insects and other problems. You should also go around and check all your plants for black tip. I know it wasn't a real cold year, but we had some extreme cold and then heat and cold and heat. And almost every yard I've been in so far this year, including mine and Bud's, there have been plants that have totally lost branches. So, although it's been a good year and a warm year, you might want to go around and check all of them. And if you find those, cut them off and cut down until you get to some good clean wood. And I seal them also. I had the black tip, you cut the branch, and you keep cutting back until you get to clean wood. And when you get to clean wood, then you take whatever you're cutting with, you clean it real good with alcohol, and you make one more cut. A lot of people don't do that. They cut through the black until they get the nice clean wood, and then they say, oh, well, we're good, you know. Well, you just contaminated the end of that raw branch. So what I do is I just buy a cheap bottle of alcohol, and I just pour it on my cutting tool. And for sealing it, I use a sealant. It's called Dynaflex. Comes from Home Depot, and it comes in colors. I use it because it comes in dark brown, and it doesn't look ugly on your plants. You don't notice it after you put it on. The thing that's really good to do right now is to check your pots to see if they're root bound. And if your plants have been in the pots for quite a few years, they're probably root bound. And this is a good time of year in the spring to pull those pots up, pull them out of the pots and root them. And you do that just by getting the plant out of the pot, setting it on a table, getting a real sharp knife or some kind of a cutting instrument and cut, say a 5-gallon pot, you cut 2 inches off all the way around and 2 or 3 inches off the bottom, and then you can repot them back in the same pot. And those plants will really start to thrive again. You can tell when they're root bound by looking at the tips. What happens is these leaf scars get really, really close together on the tips. Those leaf scars should be about an inch apart on a normal plant. And when the plant plant starts getting root bound, they get really, really close, and the plant just quits growing. Also, you want to check them if you have your plants staked. I stake all my plants that are in pots, because the wind blows them around, and it's hard on the roots. So check all your stakes, because most of the stakes will be rotten out if they've been in there for more than a year. You can put new stakes in them.